So as long as you don't want that, think that any decision you make, and this is not just about the supermarket or controlling your food, any decision you make, never make it. I know that food is a big problem, especially when you talk about eating outside. It can take a real big toll on our health, that is with our stomachs and also with our wallets. Impulse buying outside is something I specialize in. But I found a few things that I do which kind of restrict how much I spend outside. And you might see that some work for you, some don't. But take whatever is good for you, and let's head right into the video right now. Now, I don't think everyone here has thought that this is such a big problem. And maybe you've never been open to that because you don't have this problem. However, many people do have this problem. So let me give you a rough overview so that you can understand what this is all about. So let's just say I'm going to a mall. And we're going to the mall to just buy a few clothes and be on our way, nothing else. All the retail stores, have you seen? All the retail stores are usually on the higher levels. Meanwhile, the food stores are usually on the first levels. Why do you think that is? Accessibility. It's much easier to access these stores when they're on a lower level. So when they're at a lower level, you have to cross all these stores and go all the way to the other side sometimes to climb the escalator. And meanwhile, you might end up seeing a Dunkin' Donuts. You might see a McDonald's. You might see a KFC. And when you see all these stores, what usually happens, at least with teens I can say, is there's this temptation building up. And it's not even just temptation. It's usually also a matter of convenience where we feel, well, it's so close by. Why not just go there and grab a bite? It wouldn't hurt anybody. Well, unfortunately, it does harm somebody, and that's your wallet. Because the second you see these stores, you feel, why not just grab a bite? So you head inside, and then you check the order menu. Then you see, well, yeah, why not? I'm just going to take a piece of chicken. I'm going to get some rice. And then you're going to add a few more items. Maybe you'll take some chicken nuggets. And then it keeps piling up. And then eventually, sometimes you end up having a meal that's for one person, or maybe sometimes even two, because you're in that zone where you're not really thinking rationally, but rather it's your hunger thinking for you. And in that scenario, you can make some really bad decisions. Because when your hunger is controlling you, it's like your brain is telling you, well, I'm really hungry. I need some food. I need some nourishment. Please get me something. Get me so much more than I really need. Now, this doesn't matter whether you ate 2 minutes ago or whether you ate 2 hours ago. If you have this problem, unfortunately, your brain will tell you this whenever you pass by a store, that I need some food. I need something to basically make the hunger go to zero. But well, it's lying to you. Your brain is lying to you by telling you that you need this, because you don't really need this. What you need is to go to that store, buy your clothes and be on your way. That's what you need. But your brain tells you, no, I need this other thing. I need this other thing. I need food. And so then you eventually go there and then you rack up a huge bill. And who's paying for that? You, with your own wallet, which is getting hurt in this process. Now, sometimes it might not even be that it's while you're passing by, you are dead set, I want to eat something. But right as you're ordering everything, and eventually you think, well, is it a good idea to actually eat today? Maybe I could save up some money and maybe I could buy something else. But by that time, you've already ordered everything, you've paid for everything, and now you're waiting for your food. That's when the realization comes, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't have done that. But too late. You can't do anything now, can you? You've already paid for the food. That's why this overspending on food is actually a bigger issue than you think. I had this for a long time. I even have it sometimes to this day. But I've curbed this a lot, and that's what I want to discuss in this video. A few things that I used which might help you trick your brain into not heading into this trap necessarily, and maybe you can reduce your spend on food as well. Now, for those of you who have this problem, you're gonna thank me after this one. I used to spend way too much money on food that I didn't really need. Very much impulse buys, and I regret it so much right now. But however, I am grateful for learning the thing that actually helped me get out of it. So it's a very simple step. It doesn't require too much thinking. All it is that you need is a bag, and in that bag you need two things. So number one, you have some sort of healthy snack with you. Now, when I say healthy, I don't mean this as a healthy snack that you can take instead of your regular food, but this is rather healthier than the food that you'd buy, your McDonald's fries or your KFC chicken. It's going to be much healthier than that. Let's say some oat biscuits that you can get from the supermarket, processed food as you may say. It's healthier than buying McDonald's fries or KFC chicken. Or another alternative would be making homemade protein bars. Now, those have more essential nutrients while also having your sugar and honey. So it's not like you're completely moving away from the sugar intake, which is really bad for you. But however, at the same time, you're also filling up a bit so that you don't make these impulsive buys. So what you need to do is grab these foods and put them in a small tiffin, put them in your bag, and then have this big water bottle. And if you head outside, I want you to grab this bag with you, and whenever you head out, make sure you have this bag with you and you have your water filled and you have this tiffin filled with some sort of healthy food. Because what can happen is this urge of wanting to eat something can come at any point. Any point that you pass by one of these stores, you might feel, I need it today. I need it right now. And you can't wait for you coming back home to not eat that food, because some people, and I can understand that, cannot have that self-control in that particular moment. It's easy to say that you can build this self-control and you have to learn to do that. However, it's not that easy to start with. So when you're starting off, if you have something like this where you can still munch on something and you can just fill up so that you don't start thinking on an empty stomach. That's the worst thing that you can do. When somebody is deprived of something and they are meant to think about that or make a decision on that, they make the absolute worst decision, because whatever they're deprived of, they want it in that moment, and so they will do anything for that. That doesn't matter whether that's going to be sensible for now or for the future. It doesn't matter to them. All they need is that momentary satisfaction, and for that they will do anything. And so when you go outside, if you have something like this, you can stop thinking on an empty stomach. And when you have something in your belly, whether it needs it or not, if it's not craving for that something, then your brain can think a bit more logically, and then your brain can evaluate, do I really need it now? Maybe I'm not going to have dinner later on. In that case, you could have food, but maybe I do have dinner, I do have lunch at home. So then why am I buying from outside unnecessarily, impulse buying and wasting my money? I'm burning a hole in my wallet. Do I really want that? And then your brain can start making logical decisions, and it stops making impulse decisions based on how it's feeling right now. And also you think about that one saying that I've heard, especially relates to the topic that we're talking about here, where you should never go into a supermarket on an empty stomach because you might end up grabbing the wrong thing. And that actually works across the board for any single thing that you do. Because let's say you're desperate, you're craving for something. Let's say that you present bait to a mouse while it's in a mouse trap. Now this mouse has been starving for days. It's wanting some sort of food. It doesn't care how it gets it. With a rational mind, you might see that the mouse realizes that it's a trap, and he realizes, well, this is not worth it. I can just go find food somewhere else. But present it to this mouse, which has been starving for days, which needs some sort of food to survive. Now, it might know that it's a mouse trap right in front of it. However, still, it feels, I don't care. I just need that food. I see food at the end of the tunnel. I'm going to go there. I'm going to chase it. Now, it might think it's a mousetrap, it might not. However, that desperation for food is going to overweigh any thought of maybe it's a trap, maybe I'm going to get caught. There's no survival instinct that works properly when you're on an empty stomach. So that works across the board. Like I said, it works for humans, it works for animals, same way. And what happens is the mouse gets caught when it goes after the food, and then it's dead meat. So similarly, if you make such decisions, you're not going to be dead meat, but your wallet is going to disappear. So as long as you don't want that, think that any decision you make, and this is not just about the supermarket or controlling your food, any decision you make, never make it while you're desperately hoping for something of that sort, because people do that with love as well sometimes, because they chase after a partner, but sometimes they chase after it at the wrong time. What they do is they chase after it when they're in desperate need. So sometimes, like I said before, you end up grabbing the wrong thing. And so that's why always be cautious that when you're chasing after something, make sure that you're not desperate and that you make the right decisions at the right time for the right reasons. Now, like I said before, I had this experience myself. So this was about 1 year ago, I'd like to say. I used to be obsessed with donuts. Now, I used to buy 2, sometimes 3 at a time. And I knew it wasn't good for me. Don't get me wrong. And sometimes it wasn't me, It's maybe I head to the mall with the intention of either doing something or meeting up with somebody. But on the way there, you don't have an intention to buy anything. But as you walk by Dunkin' Donuts, your brain suddenly tells you, turn around, look back, what is that? Dunkin' Donuts, let's go get some. And so you turn back and then you see all these donuts stacked up and then you want to get a few. Now that's where the brain does its job badly. It tells you, I don't want just 1, I don't want 2, I want 3. When in reality, you've never completed 3. But still your brain says, I want 3. So what happens is your brain tells you you need 3. And you go after the 3. However, by the time you're done with 1 and 2, you're already full. So you don't need the third one. However, you want to chase after that because your brain told you to. And now that you bought it, you have to complete it. You can't throw it away, can you? And that's a problem that I had. So it took me a long while, but these protein bars and taking water with me really revolutionized how I started thinking about things. Because once I did that, I found that I was able to control myself better. So it's not like I still carry a water bottle with me, that I carry snacks with me. But rather, I learned that you don't need food all the time. Because once you start filling up, you can think more rationally. And with time, that rationality becomes a normality almost. So whenever you go outside, you don't have that dilemma in your mind anymore where, oh, do I buy, do I not buy? You made the decision already. So this has to do with practice, and you will get it with practice. But eventually you'll come to a point where you will make the decision not at that point, but beforehand you're going to make the decision at home that I'm not going to be buying any of this, that my mind is not going to play tricks on me, that my mind is not going to fool me. And so with practice, it can be reached. And meanwhile, while you get there, I say don't go cold turkey necessarily, because I know it doesn't work for many people. It does work for me, but however, I've seen many people for whom it does not work. So don't just go cold turkey on it, but rather take a few steps, slowly get to that point where you introduce other foods first, you take water with you, fill up on that, and then eventually that rationality will kick in, and then it'll become normal for you. And just like that, your problem is solved. And so with that, we come to the end of this video. And if you guys like this as much as I did, go ahead and drop that like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notifications bell, and also share it with your friends and your family members. Anybody who you think really needs to hear this message, go ahead and share it with them, and also drop a comment in the comments box. And I would love to hear your thoughts on this video, and maybe some other tips that you guys have seen that I've missed out, something that you'd like to add. Please go ahead and drop that in the comments box right now. And with that, I leave you all and see you all in the next video. And remember, never stop dreaming. See you all.
What demon? I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for granted and you know I'm leaving. I'ma take what's mine with the webs I'm weaving. I could take this crowd from seeing to believing. Gotta take